Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today I'm presenting Stable Cinemetrics, our structured taxonomy and evaluation suite for professional video generation. As generative video models become more powerful, it's crucial to assess their capabilities, not just for casual use, but for the complex and demanding world of professional filmmaking. Our work aims to bridge that gap. This research is driven by two fundamental questions. First, what are the specific, granular controls that professionals need to generate cinematic video? And second, with those controls defined, are the video generative models available today actually ready for professional use? These questions frame everything that follows. Why do we emphasize controls? Because in professional settings, every control is a storytelling tool. The same scene can play very differently depending on framing, lensing, light placement, and the timing of events. Professionals rely on these choices to shape meaning with intent, not by chance. Here's a simple example of how controls carry meaning. A low-angle shot makes the subject feel dominant or powerful. A high-angle shot, by contrast, tends to make the subject feel smaller or more vulnerable. These are not just technical settings. They are narrative decisions. The ability to call for a precise angle is essential if we want generative models to serve professional storytelling. To systematically address this need for control, we introduce Stable Cinemetrics. At its core are four structured taxonomies that break down cinematic control into setup, camera, lighting, and events. We designed our taxonomies with several key principles in mind. First, everything is defined at the shot level, which is the atomic unit of filmmaking. Second, the taxonomies are hierarchical and disentangled. This means we can move from broad concepts to fine details, and critically, we can adjust one parameter, like camera movement, without unintentionally altering another, like lighting. We align the four taxonomies with filmmaking roles. That makes the controls intuitive and keeps responsibilities clean when we evaluate models, just like on a real set. From the screenwriter's point of view, the core concern is what happens in the shot, the events, the actions and emotions, and how they unfold. This is captured by our events taxonomy. Production design concerns the visible world within the frame: sets, props, environment, the subjects, and the look and organization of space. Our setup taxonomy encodes those elements. The camera and lighting taxonomies are the domain of the cinematographer. They cover all the technical and artistic decisions related to how a scene is filmed and illuminated, from camera intrinsics like lens size and depth of field to lighting effects like hard or soft shadows. Finally, the director oversees all four pillars. A director's prompt would integrate elements from events, setup, camera, and lighting to create a complete unified vision for the shot. Our evaluation includes this holistic view as well. Let's take a closer look at the camera taxonomy, which covers all control knobs related to a camera. We've organized it into four main branches: intrinsics, which are optical properties like lens size and depth of field; extrinsics, like the camera's angle; trajectory, which defines camera movement; and creative intent, which covers compositional choices like shot size and framing. Here are two examples of camera control in action. The first image uses a split diopter setup. Both the foreground and background planes are simultaneously sharp, separating two focus zones within a single shot for dramatic emphasis. The second image uses a shallow depth of field. The subject is sharp while the background falls out of focus, directing attention and isolating the performance. To summarize, our evaluation framework is built upon these four foundational pillars. These taxonomies provide the structure for our benchmark and enable truly fine-grained evaluations. Now, let's see how we use these taxonomies to build our benchmark. The process mirrors professional filmmaking. We first use the events taxonomy to generate what we call signed scripts. These are the core narrative descriptions of a shot. Then in the second stage, we use the camera, lighting, and setup taxonomies to enrich these scripts, creating detailed sign visuals. Let's walk through an example. We start with a very simple script. A man serves dinner to his family. This is our narrative core. It tells us what happens, but not how it looks or feels. Now, we'll start adding visual layers. Let's sample from the camera movement node. Our baseline choice is a static tripod with a gentle dolly in. The narrative impact of this choice is a calm focus on the gesture, creating a feeling of subtle emphasis. But what if we made a different choice? An alternative could be handheld tracking. This single change completely transforms the mood. This demonstrates how critical each specific control is to the story. We can continue layering details from the other taxonomies and arrive at our final upsampled prompt. We've gone from a simple action to a rich cinematic description. With our prompts created, we move to evaluation. A key part of our method is that for every prompt, we automatically categorize each cinematic element back to its node in the taxonomy and generate a specific question for that node. As you can see in this table, a single prompt results in multiple targeted questions, allowing us to evaluate each control dimension independently. We ran a large human study, 80 plus professionals, approximately 20,000 videos, 250,000 annotations, making it one of the most comprehensive studies of its kind. So, are current video generative models ready for professional use? Based on our evaluations, current models are promising, but not ready for professional use yet. Let's look at the high-level results. The key takeaway is that models perform better on setup and lighting, but are weakest on events and camera controls. The top-performing models are WAN 14B and Minimax, but as you can see, even their scores show a large scope for improvement. Our taxonomies unlocks fine-grained evaluation. From setup down to props, backdrop, and environment, we can pinpoint specific strengths and weaknesses. Let's look at a side-by-side comparison. The prompt here asks for a hospital scene with specific camera instruction. As shown, LumaRay 2 does a much better job of capturing the cinematic details described in the prompt compared to Easy Animate 5.1. And our quantitative scores confirm this. As shown, LumaRay 2 scores significantly higher in capturing the camera controls. This demonstrates how our evaluation setup can precisely measure alignment with specific cinematic instructions. While there is much room for improvement, we also want to highlight areas where models are showing promise. Here are some positive examples of models successfully portraying different forms of actions. And for scene geometry, here we see successful generations of symmetric framing, a castle with triangular spires, and a library with strong vertical lines from the shelves. Finally, while human annotation provides our ground truth, it is costly and difficult to scale. To address this, we explored vision language models to create a scalable, automatic evaluator. Our results show that in a zero-shot setting, models are not well aligned with the preferences of our expert human annotators. Our solution was to train our own model, where we fine-tuned a 7 billion parameter model on our human preference data. Our trained model outperforms all the zero-shot baselines, achieving a much higher accuracy. So let's summarize the key takeaways from our work. First, Stable Cinemetrics introduces a set of structured, disentangled taxonomies for cinematic control, organized into the 4 pillars of events, setup, camera, and lighting. Second, through a large-scale evaluation driven by industry experts, we demonstrate that current video generative models, while impressive, are not yet ready for the demands of professional use. Third, our proposed taxonomies enable both coarse and fine-grained analysis, revealing the specific capabilities of existing models and providing clear insights to guide future research. Finally, by training auto-evaluators on human-aligned annotations, we have created a scalable framework for future evaluation, making it easier to benchmark new models as they are released. Ultimately, Stable Cinemetrics provides the vocabulary, the structure, and the methodology to push video generation from a novelty to a true professional tool. Thank you.